Yo, did we make it? Yo, there it is. What's up, Texas? Uncommonsens. Yo, guys. Yo, at peace. Uncommonsens. Needs a t-shirt, you say? Yeah. Thing is, I started designing one, actually, for... yeah, when I sold some Solar Night shirts, and I was going to use the same site, but now it turns out they've changed the entire thing. Now I actually need a website to use the same service or whatever, because that was a nice thing. You didn't need that. But yes, Uncommon Sense shirts is another thing that's in the queue. I've actually managed to grow a mustache in the end, even if it isn't great. But I think it's gonna go after this week. It was all for fun. Yeah, so I'm here. We have a handful of guys right now. Yeah, I'm just gonna be here for a little bit and see if we can get a stream going. Because I didn't upload a video yesterday, and I enter this space sometimes when I'm just not, it's a very zen mode, but it's like I'm not full of all these ideas, it's more like I like to talk to you guys. Like I feel like I'm like in a great space to listen at a time like this, and of course it's me on the stream, so I'm gonna have to talk anyway. But input mode. At peace says the mustache is looking great. Well, thanks. It's purely for fun, really. Gottvet says beard when? Well, I don't have that great of a beard. I barely have a mustache, right? Well, my beard is like, it's okay here, on the chin, here, on the cheeks. It's crap. At peace says, by the way, since it's just me, well, it's not just you. We were some more dropping in here, both in the chat and just watching. But yeah, just me in the chat. I want to thank you for your work. I've been very motivated by your channel. My gains are coming fast. Well, I'm very happy you feel like my work has helped you with that. That's the whole idea here, right? To inspire you guys to go after it. Both in the gym, but in life, work on yourself. So I'm very happy to hear that, and thank you, man. Dolph ordered a guitar to start learning how to play it. Arrived today. I kind of forgot to keep track of time. so I'll have to delay the lift till tonight. The lift, you just lost yourself in learning the guitar, so you forgot the lift you were gonna do. Or delay the lift till tonight. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I play a little bit of guitar. I don't play. It's just I never play, but I can play the guitar, you know. I think I have my guitar. Oh yeah, it's actually right there. But it's packed. Like it's one in a suitcase, whatever. Windhöck asks, do you like Mike Tyson? I don't have too much of an opinion of Mike Tyson. Like the stream, guys. Now we have some guys, and please talk in the chat. Like, I'd be happy to get a stream going here, but I'm just saying I'm gonna need you guys to talk to me today. So Mike Tyson, I don't have much of an opinion. Like my impression is that he was insane, crazy when at his prime, and it seems like in interviews these days that he's kind of reformed and realizes a bit of his ways, why he used to be a certain way. I don't dislike him. I can't say that I'm a fan or anything. And Remuller says, lift better than guitar. Lift first. Yeah. Gottfried, is guitar playing good for getting big forearms? I don't think it's good for getting big forearms, but it's good for grip strength, like finger strength, for sure. I mean, it's one of those things that it might be that you're never going to get huge forearms from playing guitar, but someone that has played a lot of guitar, if they started lifting, it could be the case that they're going to notice that their forearms are like growing disproportionately. There's many examples of this. But I'll say this, my dad plays guitar. Like he plays classical guitar on pretty much on like a professional level. It's just that classical guitar is very niched, and in Sweden very much so. So, you know, it's not like he's famous or anything. But the point is he's very good at guitar, and he had strong hands. I remember you do the like finger hook thing. You're supposed to like pull each other like this. He would always win just because he could just pinch your finger so much that it just hurt. So you're like, Dominic Badal, do you have an approach to anxiety that you developed after your past with panic attacks that you still use to this day? Besides the whole lifestyle change, I mean like niche things like breath maybe. So you should go watch my recent video that's called Stoicism is Emotional Mastery. There's even a timestamp for anxiety specifically. Like the stream, guys, if you haven't, and keep talking to me in the chat. So the go-to thing with anxiety would be like it depends too. It depends too from what. But like generally, what I talk about is that these days, for me to get like actually insane anxiety, there kind of has to be something that's, you know, it makes sense to be worried over. Like I will never get that kind of super strong anxiety over just nothing. However, I can feel like stressed and nervous, overwhelmed, which I guess is like an anxious feeling, but just not quite as strong. But my go-to is the kind of thing that I recommend, the similar thing to the silent prayer. I recommend actually, because the anxiety often wants you. It's like you gotta do something, get ready. Doesn't matter for what, just gotta be ready. And just being in the moment, sitting still, you know, just feeling your body and watching your thoughts and just kind of noticing that I don't need to hurry, you know, there's no need to be stressed. And the breathing is part of it, of course. It's just that I don't really do any breathing exercises. It's just that you sit there and, you know, you're just still and you kind of just remind yourself that there's no need to be anxious today or right now. But go watch the video. I went into it more there and I was more inspired when I was talking about that. Yeah. Yes, Dominic will go watch it. Joe Bishman says, hello, how are you today? Well, I'm really good today, but I'm... Got this kid, Jack the Stack. You're that girl that commented on some videos previously today, right? I responded, got this kind means the child of God. And Theodor, my full name, means the gift from God. But yeah, you commented on a couple of videos, I think. Yes, sir. Got this kid confirms. But Joe Bishman, I'm good, thanks. I'm like, it's a very strange state. It's like very zen, where it's the good kind of not feeling so much, like not emotional numbness that I also talked about in that video, emotional mastery video, but actually just emotional stillness. It's like, yeah, I'm feeling very good, but nice and still. And that's why I want to talk to you guys. I want you to talk to me. Because it's like, I'm empty in a good way. So yeah, guys, if you are not talking, I'm not going to stick around too long. So right now, I'm just chilling here, waiting for you to ask me something, tell me something. I did a little poll on my age on Instagram since this big debacle with the goatees. Everyone thought I was like around 30, which I am. But it's interesting. I really, that's one thing I noticed, that it's not like stuff on the internet never gets to me, but about my age, it's like, I just couldn't care less if someone thinks I'm older or not. Windhoek, do you have any advice for getting mental toughness beyond deliberately doing hard things? I mean, how are you going to get tough without doing something that's tough? It's like, you sound a bit like me before. It's like I had stage fright, and it was like, I want to get over the stage fright without facing it. How can I get less stage fright without Lord Stefan, I saw you got triggered by a video by who? You mean by Goatis? If you think I was triggered by that, it's quite funny. But yeah, man, mental toughness. You gotta do tough things to become more mentally tough, right? It's like, yeah, it's like, how do I get stronger without doing anything tough? It's almost the same kind of question, you know. But it is the typical things, you know, like all these things. I'm just gonna say the tools that I think is like training, obviously. Staying on point with a good diet, losing weight, a weight loss process has to make you mentally tough. Fasting, cold exposure, sauna if you push it, meditation even, you know, for a lot of people, that's the funny thing, a lot of people, the silent prayer that I recommend, a lot of people can't even do it. They can't even sit for 15 minutes just with their own experience like that, you know. So, yeah. No, you gotta do tough things, man. That's the whole point. Daniel, Jacob Gadbury, do you have any shirts for sale? So we were just talking about that at the start of the stream. I used to have Solar Night shirts, and then I was gonna take that up again and do an Uncommon Sense shirt. But the place I used, they have changed how they do things, so I couldn't just start it like I thought. So currently, no, but we will have Uncommon Sense shirts, and we're gonna do some of the sayings from the channel. I got a suggestions. Like one is just do the thing, because that's so often the answer when someone wants to get results and does creatine help? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, well, it will have something, but do the thing, you know. I got this here. You said jack the stack. You know that it's jacked and stacked. Maybe it's my accent that hides it, but jack the stack. Daniel Bannister. Hi, big fan of the channel, first time commenter. Cheers, man. I have a question on how best to bulk. I'm considering on a 7-day period, fasting for 3 days, being in surplus for 4 days. Thoughts? I think that's absolute. No, just no. Absolutely not. You're no. It's like if you're gonna bulk, you bulk. Okay, that's what you're doing. There is a weight loss or a maintenance thing, and you just cannot. I tried to do these things. You know, when you think that you found fasting, you found the magic hack, so you don't have to put on any fat with because you can just fast. Or I can just bulk, and then I do a fast and lose the fat, and then I keep bulking. It doesn't work like that. It's like the body has to be in a anabolic state for a longer time. So I recommend generally just bulk, skip the fasting and bulk for months, you know. But if you're going to use fasting during the bulk, not more frequently than every like 2 to 3 weeks, you want to be fasting, because that's just going to stunt all the muscle growth otherwise. Like, do you understand? You don't lose muscle from fasting unless you do something extreme, but fasting too frequently is going to make it difficult to gain any muscle at all. That was my issue when I found fasting. I tried to do these things that you're describing, but it never worked out. It was when I embraced the bulk fully, I started gaining a lot faster again. So that routine, if bulking is what you want to do, that's not it. And search the channel for bulk, have bulking videos, and we should probably do a new one. Lorta Fant, I used to watch him, but I distanced myself from him. I even made 2 videos about it. You did, you wrote a giga-long comment on his video. I find this funny, like, so when my little channel here has blown up recently, someone that I know a little bit about reacts to a video of mine. Do you don't think that I answer to it? It must be that I'm triggered, right? It can't be that I'm fucking excited at this, like, yes, someone is reacting to me, I have a chance here to drop a comment, I can address some points. It's like that entire thing was overwhelmingly entertaining to me. Like I say, of course, I read a comment about something. Generally, especially his video in and of itself was just funny to me. And yeah, do you know that my instinct on here is that I want to interact with everyone, whether it's positive or negative. You're going to see on my videos that I respond to so many comments, whether they're positive or negative. So I was just excited. It was fun. And to be honest, my instinct is that it would be fun to keep engaging with all of that. I just don't think it's very serious now. So I'll just leave that. It's like I'm happy with that interaction for now, or that exchange, or what it led to with the videos or whatever, but I'll leave that situation now. But here, I'll end that note. Do you know something funny? Vegan Gaines emailed me because he saw this, and we emailed a bit, and I might go on his channel, actually, for not a debate, but obviously Vegan Gaines and me don't quite agree on everything, but that's fun. Having discussions or conversations with people that you know, you don't just want the echo chamber. So that would be fun. We'll see. Let's see if that happens. Dominic Badal, do you think you starting YouTube and stuff is a product of overcoming stage fright? It's not exactly the same, but it's still putting yourself on display. I don't think so. I know so. That's like part of, that's what I figured out so much. I wanted, look guys, I was on YouTube since it came about, like when I was 11 years old, like watching stuff. And I've uploaded little troll videos as a teenager and that. And I always thought I could do something because I know that I'm good at speaking and explaining, making points and that. So I never knew exactly about what. But yes, the stage fright, it was just more acute, that fight or flight thing. But our fears that we have, which in my case was a deep fear of being seen for who I am and rejected and abandoned. That if I show myself as I truly am, I will be rejected and abandoned. And it was the same fear that held me back from doing something like having a YouTube channel, is of course that I don't get acutely nervous about creating a YouTube account. It's just that subconsciously, deeply, I feel like, you know, something bad could happen. Or it's not worth it, or people will not like what I have to say or whatever. So yes, my man, I know that this panic attack thing, it made me not only overcome stage fright, but a lot of this fear of abandonment that it really is. Then I had to learn that those things sit deep, so I had still a healing to do there. But yes, a lot is with taking space and putting yourself out there. You know, the YouTube and stage situation, it's the same. It's just that one of them can trigger more that acute nervousness, while the other one is like just your unconscious ruling your life, keeping you afraid. Singing, dancing, muscle man. What is the meaning of life? Has your answer changed since the last time I asked? It hasn't. Truth, Truth, where were we? Truth only. Yeah, truth, he said to Lord and he was just responding casually. Exactly, man. Just responded. Jack Fisher, sorry if this question is unrelated to what you're discussing. Just curious how much you deadlift. I'll be doing them today. So I haven't deadlifted. Let me tell you a brief story about my deadlifting. So deadlift was a lift I noticed that I was quite good at when I started going to the gym. And so I hit 200 kilos with it, like when I had gone to the gym for less than a year. I'd been training in total a bit longer than a year, but in the gym for less than a year. And then a year later or so, I know I had 220 kilos. But then once I actually, so I hurt my lower back recently, which was fine. I've been completely fine since then. But I hurt it worse some years ago on a deadlift when I was stupid. Should have not gone for the last rep. I had not a hernia, but a bulging disc. And so I didn't deadlift for years is the point. Then at the start of this year, I could deadlift and I just did it for a few sessions and I actually hit a 225 kilo deadlift. But that's with not doing it for years. And like on the second or third session, I even did a deadlift. So, 225 kilos, but I can definitely get it up higher. And that's actually something. It was fun. But I noticed that I could do it for a few sessions, but I should really get my hips sorted. So that's my focus now. But I want to get back to the deadlift, and I'm sure I can hit at least 250 kilos quite quickly if I'm not, no pain in the hips, and I can just train for a longer time for it. Okay. The internet on my computer in and out a little bit. Singing as a muscle man. I have the best question for your next Q&A. Would you rather have but you have asked this already, man. Jacob Gadbury. Awesome. Thanks to you. Well, you're welcome, man. Eike Freidank. Stop working out if you want a family, and a wink emoji. It's like out of nowhere. It's like, no, I'm going to have a situation when I'm trying to, how does that even make sense? Stop working out if you want a family. So I just get fat and soft, and then I get a family. I'm not seeing it. But I'm going to work out until I have a family and when I have a family. I can't wait to prove all coping people, just wait until you have kids, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I'll still prioritize better than you when I have kids, And one thing too, because I see it for people that have like a bunch of young kids and they haven't built good habits yet. It's hard. Of course, it's difficult. But it's not really that you don't have the time or that. And that's what I know. That's what's so beautiful. When I have kids, even if I had to cut my training down by 80%, that would be so easy for me to do the 20% and just stay in good shape. Prioritize differently, but I would be healthy, in good shape, and I wouldn't just start eating crap out of nowhere and stop training completely. So that's something I'm grateful for, that I got a lot of my shit together before getting kids and that. Like I see my cousin that's working hard on herself lately, and I'm proud of her, and she's doing well. Not the easiest thing, having like a 3-year-old and 2 twins. That's like 16 months, stressful. Oh, a $20 super chat from Louis Sibley. Appreciate it. How do you deal with low confidence and self-esteem? Been in the gym for about a month, and I notice I'm stressed out about my aesthetic more than I used to be. How I look to others, especially. I'm thirsty for women lately. Okay. I'm just trying to think of the way you're describing this. Stressed out about my aesthetic more than I used to be, and how I look to others, especially. Like, don't you think it's just because you're starting to train and work on your body that you're just extra self-conscious and analyzing this more? Because, that's what I think for myself, that when I started with this, when I talk about my old self, skinny, fat, loser, hedonist kind of guy, at the time, like I definitely had low self-esteem in many ways in that, but like truly I wasn't suffering from like, oh, I look so bad. Like, but I do remember though, I asked my cousin actually to take a picture of me when I was feeling better and I just started to train but not lose weight. And I remember when I saw the picture of myself just shirtless by not the beach, by the water in the summer, and I was like, really? I look like that now? You know, but it's like I hadn't noticed the way I looked until I actually started working on, well, it wasn't just the way I look, but you know, I started training, I'm starting to think about the body transforming. So don't you think just that you probably have low self-esteem for other reasons, and about this in particular, as you said, now you've started to go to the gym, and you know, you compare yourself to people and that you're just extra self-conscious about that. But like, how do you deal with low confidence and self-esteem? Well, it's like when you just ask it like that, right now I have to answer it like according to the information I have. But honestly, if you keep going to the gym now, because that's what you're talking about, you're gonna, if you feel uncomfortable for different reasons, but you keep going, putting in the work, and you're actually making progress, you're, in spite of feeling uncomfortable and whatever that, you're going to get good self-esteem because you will like yourself for this, you know. Hey, I didn't let the discomfort or being insecure stop me from getting to where I'm at now, where I'm happy, thanks me, you know. But confidence also, confidence and self-esteem, we have the point, opportunity to talk about the difference about the two now that you asked and distinguish between the two. Confidence, that's how much you trust just your ability to do something, right? That you feel secure in that, yes, this thing I'm good at, I'll get it done, you know. And self-esteem is just how much you like yourself, you know. So, for instance, you can have high confidence but low self-esteem. Lots of guys that sleep around with many girls, that like they manage to sleep with a lot of girls, they are confident in their ability to hook up with the girls, but they have low self-esteem, and that's why they feel the need to sleep with the girls in the first place. Because even though they think, they trust that they can do it, that's the validation they need still, though. Just the proof every time, right? So man, since you asked about the gym, honestly, observe yourself and analyze yourself about all of this, and then just keep going and working on yourself, and you're going to find that you feel more confident in what you do, and you're going to appreciate yourself for putting in the hard work for yourself, right? Yes, but thanks, man. I hope that was helpful, and thank you so much for the generous super chat of $20. Like the stream if you haven't, guys, and keep talking. Maybe do like Louis here. Support the stream with a super chat. Always, the super chat gets stuck when I open it. Okay, there we go. So where were we? Okay, got the skin. MAO, I wasn't sure, but the accent is legendary. Maybe a jacked and stacked shirt. And seriously though, it's super motivating that you're a holistic bodybuilder. Much respect. Well, I appreciate that. But I'm interested, because I think you are a girl, I think. And you think it's motivating that I'm a holistic bodybuilder. It's like, I'm curious, is that something that sounds appealing to you? You know, I'm thinking a bit. I would like to have a bit more women in the audience. I feel, in real life, I get along so well with women all the time, you know. And I feel like the women that find their way here, I've always had some women following, and they usually interact a bit more then. But when I looked at the statistics, it's very few. And I think it's on the surface, this muscular guy talking about this and that, you know, probably not, you know, pulling in more guys than girls for sure. But yeah, I am interested if the holistic bodybuilding sounds interesting to women too. Daniel Bannister said thank you. You're welcome, man. Jay, Theo, do you still have wrist pain? I have it now on my left wrist. It's actually a lot better, but now it's the left elbow that's a little achy. There's always something, right? I'm actually considering taking Monday and Tuesday off from the gym Yeah, I haven't taken rest days just randomly like that have I even done it this entire year? Unless I was traveling or something, I don't think so. But it's difficult because my central recovery is so good. As in, I have good energy. I don't feel like, I'm so stressed from training too much. But a little joint, some achy areas. And it seems like active recovery doesn't cut it, and I actually just need to rest a bit, so I'm going to try that. But, about the wrists, Jay, they're still on the pull workout video. The warm-up there, it's almost every wrist movement you can do. And so all of those things is what's helped a lot for my wrists and elbows, so go check that out. Archon, I try to do push-ups with good form, but one of my shoulders just keeps popping, and I know it's close to injury. Okay. I mean, when people just state things like that, because you're just saying a statement, and it's like, react to this, It's like, what am I supposed to say? Really? That's too bad. But that it's popping, it doesn't necessarily mean it's close to injury. But, if it's actually close to injury, like do push-ups without pushing it so hard first. Like you get some pain, some volume in without pushing it to failure and gradually increase. Very often, when you have an injury, but you're not completely, unable to perform a movement, it's like getting the area used to the movement again. Like for example, my right leg now is where I have most problems with my hips. And so it's going deep in a squat that's become difficult for the right. But so in a split squat, I'm now not training the right leg so heavy, but I'm challenging that level of depth. Like I go to exactly when I feel like, okay, it would hurt too much if I went deeper. So, and gradually I'm getting lower and lower. You see what I mean? Then often exposing yourself, not avoiding, but exposing yourself to, whatever hurts, but at the right dose, and then increasing from there. That's usually the way to go, one way or another. Lortafant says, he is a type of guy I would be careful to interact too much with, but your channel gain more attention. That is a scold from me. Agree. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. That to me, the internet troll in me would love to get more involved in that situation. It's very entertaining for me that I've seen stuff like this from the outside so much, and all of a sudden you're in it. But yeah, that's what I agreed to. What you're saying is kind of what I concluded to. We have another super chat from Louis again. Simply, $10. Thoughts on putting on muscle when getting into the gym the first few months to get strong first before cutting if overweight. My focus is on resistance training and walking to build muscle first. Well, look, man, you should probably watch, if you haven't, my video on beginner to jacked, where to start or something. But look, man, you should focus on losing weight. It's just that if you are, it sounds like you have some extra weight, right? You're gonna be able to put on muscle at the same time. And what it often is, the way I should describe it is that, this is how it was for me. I came to a point where it was difficult to get leaner, and also I was eating too little to make any gains. And now I'm talking about very early, right? And so then, because I was lean, right? I lost weight. I was just not ripped like that. But it was difficult to lose more fat. And then I bulked for a bit, gained a little bit of fat with some more muscle. But now it was easier to cut down lower because I have a higher metabolism from more muscle mass. So man, you should, if you have fat to lose, you should just do that, keep the protein high and smash your training. Focus on the resistance training as you do, and you're going to be able to cut fat and put on muscle at the same time. Then where you come to some point where you feel like my training is not really moving anywhere and I seem unable to lose more fat now, that's when you actually focus on building muscle. Okay, I'll actually eat a bit more now. Be fine with putting on a little bit of fat again, because the next time it's going to be easier to cut down lower when I have more muscle mass. But where you are right now, I would suggest just take this opportunity you have to actually burn fat and build muscle at the same time. High protein, crush your workouts, and then of course everything else, that's, sleep well, minimize stress and that. But this one I knew I can answer very straightforward, because I love that. What I love about the body composition questions and stuff is that, like the deeper stuff, we're talking about self-esteem and all that. Of course, I think I can give you some good advice too, but it's not as straightforward. But this is almost just math. So yeah, I appreciate the support again, Luis. It means a lot, honestly. Let's see here, where were we? Singing, dancing, muscle man. Like the guy determined to just ask useless questions, really. Then this one I'll answer though, because I have a take on it. He asks about breasts or butts, and definitely butts. It's like, what was it? I came up with a good saying for this. Yes. Let me think of it. I need to come up with it. Because it's like, breasts are for boys, asses are for alphas, something like that. Because when you think of it, the boob, that's what the little kid gets his nutrition with, sucking mama's tit, right? And the butt, that's what you stare down straight at when you impregnate a girl, or that's the post that, honestly, the Volsa lifestyle, I still have a sex drive, right? The thing, it's like when you see a girl in that kind of position, that's the most triggering position, I feel like. I say that breasts are for boys. They are nice, of course. Don't get me wrong, but Jack Fisher, that would be sweet to see you on Vegan Gains Talk. Yeah, we'll see. Like, it seems like I'll go on. And we suggested, he asked if I wanted to debate veganism. And I said that, look, man, I'm not really interested in debates, because I feel like they're mostly about coming off as winning with your words in the eyes of the audience. It's not really about learning from each other, because, I might not agree with Vegan Gains on many things, but I'm just curious to hear what he thinks and what he does. And he's someone who trains, and he does that with a vegan diet. I'm just interested. I don't have to debate it. I'm just interested to hear what's that like. Is it hard to put on weight? So yeah, it seems like it's happening. It's going to be fun. Yes, got this kid says that having a family. People have responded to this person that said that stop training if you want a family or something, and she says that having a family is even more reason to train. Exactly. Robert says, I disagree mostly. Men must be present, caring, and guiding. Well, they're going to be much better at that if they're fit. Like, that's what I see a lot. That's what I notice with myself. You say that men must be present, caring, and guiding. That's what I feel these days, that I'm a fucking rock since this lifestyle, that I can be so present and caring in that. And if I can be so solid in the midst of high stress, because I've trained myself to control myself when I'm stressed, right? So any excuse someone could make for not train when you have a family or something, I will absolutely never buy it. What I will buy is that it's not as much of a priority for most people, like max out strength numbers in the gym, or completely max out muscle size, but just generally maintaining at least a good level of fitness. That there's just no excuses for that. There just is not. And yeah, Gotteskin says that the training for like an hour daily isn't exactly being absent, but agrees with the caring and guiding, of course. Yeah, Kalle Montan. Yes, talk to Vegan Gains. That would be entertaining. Maybe even go vegan for 1 month and make content about it. I find it hard to eat well and train when trying to eat vegan. I would not go on vegan. I went for a sort of orthodox fast. I went like vegetarian for 2 weeks, but it's so ridiculous because that just becomes me like leaning so much. I would eat like 12 eggs per day and stuff, you know. So it's like, okay, I'm not eating meat. I'm just eating twice as many eggs instead, and all this like feta cheese and stuff, you know. No, I don't want to. I don't want to try being. You know, it's not even if someone actually is like, okay, I will cook. I will cook from Whole Foods, great vegan food for you. And would you be vegan for a month then? I do it, but that I have to not just be vegan to begin with, but I have to put effort to coming up with a vegan meal plan for myself. Like I have no clue. I just have no idea what I would eat if I was a vegan. Because I lean so much for like protein and many micronutrients. I lean so much on animal foods for it. So I'm like, what the hell do I do if I don't get to eat them? Jay, what's your 1 rep max on squat, bench, and deadlift? Since we're talking about deadlift and stuff. So honestly, I haven't even on a squat. I've never tried the 1 rep max because it's just never interested me. Like the heaviest kind of squat I've ever tried. I've done an ass to grass past 170 kilo searcher squat. You know, so having the bar here, very deep and with a pass. But that's probably the heaviest squat I've ever tried like that. But otherwise, like I've done like 140 kilos for 10 reps on a high bar squat, but I've never gone for a 1 rep max. Deadlift, that is 225 kilos after not doing it at all for 3 years on like the third workout. So yeah, that would be a lot of fun to get up. I'm more interested in a deadlift is just a better 1 rep max movement to me, you know. Bench, I've never done more than 130 kilos. I want to, I don't, bench I care even less about, honestly. But I have in my head though that I would like 140 kilo bench, just 3 plates. It's silly, but I would just like to have had that. So I did 130 in 2022. And then this winter, I was going to try if I, 140. And I felt 130 and it was easier. I would have had like 130, 5 maybe. But since I felt I didn't have 140, I didn't even go for more. So 130 heaviest I've done probably would have had 135. But yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna get like this winter or fall. I'm probably gonna get 140 kilos. But then I'll probably not do flat bench at all, honestly. Like not regular. In that case, maybe close grip, but stick more with the incline bench. The one I have, though, that I think because you ask about the squat, bench, and deadlift, and apart from just the unappealing form you have to use in a powerlifting, that it's just about 1 rep maxes. Strength is not just 1 rep max, it's like 10 rep maxes and all that stuff too. But one thing that's missing too is like a pulling movement, I feel like. And so something I had that I care more than all of these on a 1 rep max, I have a dead hang, like from dead hang to all the way to here. I have a chin up with 60 kilos in the belt. And I'm quite proud of that specifically because of the form. Like if you just go to, one of these, it wouldn't be as much, but specifically going from a dead hang all the way to here, clean 60 kilos, that's really good. But there you go, there you have some numbers. Okay. Gonzalo Airoso says, Zapro, nice mustache, double biceps. I appreciate it. So now when it's starting to be okay, it's kind of when I want to take it away. Starting to be annoyed by it. I want to grow my hair out just because I haven't had long hair in a long time. But that's also annoying. But there's so much hair. It's ugly sometimes at this length, Not that I care all that much about it, but it is so much hair too. But this too, man, it starts to tickle you and shit, There's a part of me, I don't want to be a complete bum, but there's a part of me that just, when it comes to clothing and stuff, just be comfortable, Singing Dancing Muscle Man. Any thoughts on the use of an inversion table for epically powerful core strength and hip joint spine health? Inversion table? Is that some kind of chiropractor tool or something? Gotta see. Inversion table. Oh, I've never seen one of those. Well, I can't have too much of a thought on it right now. Looks fun. Daniel Bannister, best to lift heavy and low reps at the gym while fasting. Oh yeah, we'll get back to that. I think we got a new one from Louis Sibley. Another $10. What are your thoughts on the looks maxing movement? Is it something that beta males worry about? Trying to look as handsome as possible for women is kind of weird for guys to worry about, I think. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the movement, but yes, you know, it's one thing, because here, of course, I think you should work on your looks, but it's more, you know, it's this holistic approach that it's not like about looks maxing. It's kind of like become a certain man and we will show on the outside, you know, both on the muscle mass, but you know, my appearance has transformed a bit, and I mean not a bit, quite a bit, like these years, right, from the lifestyle. But it's more that the internal shows on the outside. The man I become is visible on the outside, and that man just is a beautiful person, you know. But yeah, it's never about looks maxing, right? Though I'm not telling you guys to mew and use this oil for the skin and blah blah blah. So yeah, I agree that it's weird, because the way I feel the manly thing is to not care so much about looks and just end up looking very manly and handsome, because that is kind of a manly trait, not to be a slob again, not that you can like be dress nice for certain occasions and, you know, no grooming, that you're just like completely dirty, not that, you know, but this kind of that, you know, yeah, I want to look okay. I don't dress like a complete bum, but I'm not really all that worried about my looks. I feel like that's a kind of manly view. Like, you know, you don't let yourself go like a bum, but you're also not overly worried about the way you look. And as a side effect of that, you're going to look great, and your energy is also going to be very relaxed and manly. And, you know, as we all know, appearance, or as we all know, as I know at least, we don't think a person, when we think they look good, we judge them less on their actual just pure looks than we think. It's their entire demeanor and energy that we're picking up on from them, right? So, you know, I think there's something kind of strange with trying to max out your looks in that way, you know. Yeah, it's kind of gay, honestly. Yeah, but thanks a lot for the support, man. You really bring it today. It means a lot, man. I appreciate it. Maybe someone else want to contribute too. Well, guys, I think we have quite a bit to talk in the chat anyway. So, but like, if you haven't, keep talking. Super chats prioritize, of course. So there, Daniel Bannister, best to lift heavy and low reps at the gym while fasting, stimulate, not annihilate, just to maintain muscle. So yes, man, go to my video intro to prolonged fasting that I did when this channel started to blow up. It's like, it must be a couple of months ago now or something. But yeah, there is a timestamp with training. And look, my whole view is that, and it's especially when you're on point with your training, you always eat enough protein and you always hit your workouts. It's just not so important to train when you fast, because it's like the one time you can't build muscle anyway, and you're always training well otherwise. So, point is that I don't even think it's so important to train on the fast, but the idea, it can be fun. That's my main reason to train on a fast now, because it's kind of cool, just interesting. Have that experience of, everyone is like, oh, I gotta eat something before I train. And I'm kind of like, I gotta see what it's like to train when I haven't eaten in 4 days. But low volume, right? Like if you're gonna do a set where you actually train a little harder, just do one set though. If you're gonna do multiple sets, keep them at like 60% of the intensity you normally use. But what I've typically done, like, I like to go and test like 1 rep maxes on strength exercises, because funnily enough, it's just cool to see what is my strength in the fasted state compared to otherwise. But also, if one heavy top single is what I'm gonna work up to, while it's heavy, that 1 rep, it doesn't grind the muscles down in the same way, like doing multiple sets of reps, right? So I will often work up to a heavy single, maybe do one set with reps, but do that on a few compounds. But honestly, man, training on the fast is mostly for fun. It's not even necessary. But if you're to do it, yes, like you say, stimulate, not annihilate. Dennis Rice, I think, says, "You're awesome, dude. Thank you for encouragement and wisdom." Well, I appreciate that, man. I gotta tell you, you guys really stroke my ego and make me happy when you thank me specifically for the wisdom. And it's something, because I feel like I'm quite a smart and insightful guy, but I'm actually also quite humble. But it's not something I feel bad about, but you just know that some people don't get that a training guy can actually be quite a smart guy. They judge you as sort of, he's into muscle and training, he's all bronze, no brains. It's kind of like, no. Like, you're not even getting it. Like, especially natural jacked guys, by the way, very likely to be smart guys, because you have to be smart. You have to figure out how it works. Like, to just make some progress, to be fit, you don't necessarily have to be smart. But to become really fit, you gotta be smart. You gotta understand how to make it happen, right? So I do feel seen and appreciated when you guys compliment me on my wisdom, mainly. And I'm very happy to share this wisdom with y'all. Daniel Bannister, I fell for the bulking meme, eat big to get big. So I need to fast off some excess fat. We'll focus on fasting, but I don't want to lose what little muscle I built in 5 months. No, but wasn't it you that asked about bulking? I see I got another super chat. We're going to get to that again. But you asked, I can't go all the way up in the chat. Why is that? Well, because I just wanted to see, I think you asked about bulking, and then you talked about fasting. Well, look, man, that's what I'm telling you, though. Even if it's hard to gain muscle when you're fasting too often, you don't lose it. So if it was you with the 4 days per week fasting or whatever you suggested there, as long as you train and eat protein on the other days, you're not, and don't go to any like ridiculous level here, you're not going to lose muscle. And it's like, you're going to be afraid of that, because that's just a fear you have. I can't say anything. I've told this example many times, that when I learned about fasting, I was afraid of losing muscle because I trained a little over a year and I had my hard-earned gains, right? Never done something like that. But then I listened to Snake Diet guy, Cole, saying that you don't lose muscle. And he's a jacked guy, way more jacked than me, and he's clearly fasting and not losing muscle. So I believe him. However, since I've never had that experience, I'm still afraid that I'm going to lose muscle, right? It's not until I do a few fasts and see that I'm not afraid. So I'm just telling you, man, you're not going to lose muscle immediately. You just keep training and eating protein when you're not fasting. And Louis Simley says, very helpful, thank you. Well, I'm glad, man, since you've been contributing quite a bit here. And Daniel Bannister here also, it was you that sent the super chat even. £5 just says thank you in a heart, much appreciated. Well, I appreciate the questions, man, and thank you for the super chat. I'm glad it was helpful. Jay, Theo, the trend twin physique is the physique I want. Have the same height and kind of same body shape as them, just not as much muscle, not to sound like a fanboy. What's your opinion on that physique? Well, my opinion is you need Tren to look like that. Clearly, I mean, I don't know if Tren in particular, but you see the point. Gear, like those guys are way, like it's obvious, it's in the name, it's not a secret, right? But I mean, they look good for that kind of look, If I embrace the enhanced side of things, I think they look pretty cool, right? But like, what I think about that, it's like what my opinion is on it. Good physiques. They're jacked dudes. They're strong, very strong. But yeah, probably if you don't want to go on that path, adjust your expectations. Like I'm honestly very happy with my build, as in that I can look quite big even when I'm lean, because that's what they tell us naturals that we can't, right? You pick one, you're either lean or big. So even I think that's a good goal as a natural, to reach a level where you can actually be considered to be quite big, even when you're lean, you know. Yeah. Robert, ironically, I have the confidence to go in the gym, but feel insecure, so feel the need to. I don't feel confident to be with women, but don't feel insecure when I am. So it's kind of like when you have the woman, you feel like, I know what to do now, but getting to that point is a different story. Or because I think a lot of guys could relate to that it's like making the move so that you actually talk to the girl, are in that situation. That's difficult. But when you are in the right situation with a girl now, you can just talk, right? Ike Freidank, I meant that working out too much deteriorates the body. These tired takes, it's like, it's just sad that that's what some people think about when they think about training. Oh, don't do it too much though, it deteriorates the body. So does a bunch of fucking shit that everyone does too much of these days, that also never brings anything good, like junk food, you know, drugs and shit. It's like, had to go find something wrong with the good thing. Singing, dancing, muscle man. Have you ever trained the behind the back deadlift? I learned about it from Eric Bugenhagen. My behind the back deadlift is a good 20% stronger than my conventional. You know, I've never trained it, but I've done a bunch of those lifts for fun. I think I never pulled more than like 160 kilos behind my back. I know that that you're supposed, like in the end, to be able to lift more behind the back, but it's more about getting used to the form, right? So I've done that a few times for fun. That's such a cool thing, by the way, guys. When you just have good general strength, you can have these sessions when you just make some silly exercise up, try it for fun, but because you are strong as hell to begin with, even when you're playing with exercises, it's like, you know, being able to throw 140 kilos on for whatever deadlift you're going to play with. That a lot of people, they can't even do that as your max, and that's your like play weight. It's kind of fun. And I don't mean just to like mug other people either, but because it's like, even when you get stronger, you know, 140 kilos is always 140 kilos. It doesn't change like that, you know. Pat Gaming APA style. Pat, happy Saturday to you. Well, happy Saturday to you, Pat. A little wave. Sixten Andreasson, have you ever had trouble with acne? If so, do you have any tips on how to get rid of it? Well, yes, it's like I have the genetics for acne. I had quite a bit in my teens, probably a lot more because I ate quite a bit of junk food and I had horrible sleep and I'd go drinking, partying and stuff. But you know, I think the main thing is, it's on the, you know, all these things that show on the outside, it's mostly on the inside. The solution is still, I think now, I can still get a little acne at times, but you know, this odd single like pimple, but not, as you can see, not as much in the summer at all. The summer, I mean, the sun has always been the best thing for acne for me. It dries out oily skin, you know, in a good way. But otherwise, I just think keep it clean, like a clean diet, minimal processed foods, and like if it's a big issue, you can even go on an elimination diet, like a carnivore diet, and then add stuff in just to find out what triggers you. Like I suspect, for instance, that sometimes that the whey I will have, that I refuse to sacrifice, is what gives me acne sometimes. But it's not enough, you know, it's not bad enough for me now to want to take it away. But also stuff like when you sleep worse, I notice immediately if you have a few days of bad sleep, it's much more likely that you get a pimple or something. So you see, man, the funny thing is, it's so many conditions. In the end, the same answer goes. It's like, well, sleep well, eat good food, minimally processed stuff, get sunlight, you know, minimize stress, stuff like this. But the sun definitely good for acne. TRT or Belfort, do you think it's essential to not engage in relationships and stuff while you're trying to make major gains? Of course not. Well, like, why? I think it's so funny with people's, like, it's essential to not engage in relationships. And why would it be essential? You know, for someone, it might be a good idea. to shift the focus. But why is it like it's generally when you want to make gains? Yeah, it's essential that you don't get involved. Like why? Well, I will often tell guys, because I have quite a few clients at this right now, and some. It's different. It's funny. You get some that say, okay, it was kind of from that kind of stuff you find me, and that's what you're focusing on, and that. And so there are definitely some guys that recognize this, been like a little desperate to find the girl, either just gaining the validation from girls, or actually like, oh, I'm desperate to get with a girl, and they will like ask me something. Oh, should I not focus on girls at all while we're doing this? And I'm like, bro, it's like, why block yourself completely from it? Like, yeah, if you've been actively before this trying to go on dates all the time, okay, maybe we'll dial that back a bit. But if you just run into some girl in some situation and you have good chemistry or something, like, why should you not go for that then? It's like, does it have to be so black and white? Like, sometimes you can shift the focus, you don't prioritize that. But who's to say? Like, for someone else, it could be the opposite. Instead of a girl being a distraction, maybe it's the girl that like, gave you even more motivation to go even harder. That's what I felt with the girl I've loved and been involved with these last few years. Not a bit with training in particular, because I have enough motivation to get going. But with other things, though, like the girl has been like, I want to improve. I want to improve. She makes me want to improve. So who's to say that it must be a negative thing, just a distraction with a relationship when you're making gains and that? Robin M. finished a 64-hour fast for lifters today. Binge watched some of your fasting videos, and it definitely made my fast easier mentally. Well, I'm happy, man. It's good. I'm happy to be like the one keeping people company on their fasts and stuff. Like the stream if you haven't, guys. Maybe send a super chat. And talk a bit more. Theo Tantanai Coop, he's saying that the like ladies, it sounds like older ladies in the grocery store or food store is trying to flirt with him. Well, that's just a little bit of flirting with the old ladies is just nice, right? It's like the older ladies are always more obvious with showing their interest, yeah. Like, what I think when you look the way I do, I think a lot of girls, like guys, they are more obvious, like staring at a girl that they like and find hot. And it would be more obvious in their attitude when they talk to them. But girls, I feel like it's almost the opposite, As many, they can act like, he's attractive. I cannot let him think that I think he's attractive, like that attitude. Like, I think it's nice when girls can be like a little just girly and relaxed and not have to put on this like strong face. And that's what I think older ladies sometimes, they're probably just more mature. It's like it can be more obvious that they just appreciate you and find you attractive without them being like creepy or something. It's just a little mutual appreciation between feminine and masculine, right? Mystical stab artist. Thoughts on Olympic lifts? Epic. I have not trained much, them. I have not trained the lifts much, but I think they're very cool. I think of it often that I think training for the Olympic lifts, it gives you good abilities all over. Not only do you get strong and you get a good physique, but you get very flexible, explosive. It's a lot going on there. And it's like so many things. It's one thing that I would love to get more involved with, but there's just, again, you have to pick and choose a little bit. So could be something I get into at some point. I'm more interested in the snatch than the clean and jerk, I'd say. But I think it's cool. And it's very satisfying to see the Olympic weightlifters, the way they train. They always have such beautiful form on everything. Like the opposite to powerlifters, where it just move as much weight in the ugliest way possible. And that's the beauty, I think, of the Olympic lifts, that you have to have good form. It's impossible to do an ugly form, because then you're not going to hit the lift, right? Singing, dancing muscle man. If it is called getting jacked when men become leaner and more muscular, when women become leaner and more muscular, should it be called getting jilled? I don't know. Is that weird? I think you've asked this at some other point, and I give you that one is at least kind of funny. Got the skin. Yes, I am a female. I follow several bodybuilders, a few Swedes, a couple Americans. I've been a gym regular for the past decade. Took time off after having my son. Now I'm trying to build my strength up. Nice. My legs basically hollowed out because I wasn't eating enough and breastfeeding. Now I prioritize protein better. Well, that's good. Build yourself up again. You know, mothers should train with their little kid as much as possible, you know. Do little squats holding the kid and, you know, lift the kid up and shit. Perfect training. Sten Jinx shows up and says, Björn, classic ABBA bits by Sten here. He suggests to Gotteskind that she should just have consumed her own breast milk to counteract the loss. Yeah. And the kid, what about the kid? Matteus Kirane, vegan protein powder. Thought on that, for I can't tolerate whey protein powder yet. What do you mean by yet? So you're anticipating that you're going to be able to handle it? Well, I would prefer something other than a vegan protein. Look, I'm not an expert on this with different kinds of proteins and stuff, but I know some things. I know that pea protein, for instance, it contains way less of the amino acid leucine, which is the most anabolic one, the most important one for muscle growth. So it makes it so that if you're gonna get your protein from pea protein, it's like you have to eat 3 times as much protein almost just to get enough leucine. So I don't know how it is with all the vegan proteins, but I would, if you can't do whey, I would rather find like a beef protein or something like that. Dolph, what hairstyle are you trying to get from growing it out? What I'm trying to get, I don't know, it's just gonna get long. I'm thinking of the way I had my hair when I was like 12, 13 years old. It's just nice and long, like this, you know. And it's just for fun. Like that's, again, we spoke about looks and looks maxing and that. It's funny, because on the one hand, you're bodybuilding and you care about looks. But it's like, I'm not thinking so much about, oh, which hairstyle makes me look the best and blah, blah, blah. I get a little bored with something and think it's fun. You see, the same way it's fun to transform the body with the training. It's like, okay, I can have a different hair for a while. Oh, I'll try a mustache, you know. So it's like, I'm just growing it out and see what happens. And honestly, I thought a lot about just cutting it at this point. But I think I'm going to stick with it for some time. And then we'll just see. St. James says he's trying to get that Bon Jovi mullet. It's my life. Josh Craddock, when is your birthday? That's interesting. Why would you ask that? Are you like into astrology or something? But it's December 12th. I'll be, I almost said I'll be 12, but I'll be 32 on December 12th. I was born in 1992. Are you going to give me a read, my star sign? James Wayton, I do vegan bodybuilding. It's easier than you think for sure. Just finished my training, got a shower. I will comment about food tips if you want. I mean, I'm not gonna do it. I mean, I would read it, I would listen if you told me, but like, don't waste your time giving me advice about it if you don't want to. But I'm glad if it's working for you, man. Julian says, what's the topic? Me for the stream? The topic is whatever you guys say that's interesting enough for me to talk about. Like the stream, if you haven't, guys, maybe send a super chat. I think we're going to round off here soon. Mr. Gustav, his thoughts on Big Lenny. I think that's just some weirdo in the fitness. Like, I would, when I was listening to the non-fraudulent bodybuilding podcast with Boston Lloyd and Leo and Longevity, that both are dead now, which is crazy, but they would talk about Big Lenny. And I think Leo had some feud with him somehow. But I don't really know anything about that guy. I just heard him talked about. And he seems like a little special somehow, like a character somehow. Oil Prince, Dolph said, maybe he means Lewis, who keeps sending the super chat. Derek, I'm skinny fat with some muscle and been training for almost 2 years, but I've been lacking in training. What do I do? What? You're skinny fat with some muscle I've been training for almost 2 years, but I've been lacking in training. What I do? Well, stop lacking in training then, or like train better, train harder. If you're skinny fat, the eating can't be the biggest issue. So just crush your workouts, get better at training. You must do progressive overload. That's the thing. Sometimes as a coach and content creator, when you try to teach people things and you make points, some things you get so sick, it's like, how many times can I say this? But if people just had it I need to make progress in the gym. Like overwhelmingly, most workouts, I should beat what I did the last time. Because if you do that, and always do that, it's impossible not to put on muscle. And if you don't, then it's because you eat too little and you can't even progress when you try. But then you find out and then you eat and then you progress. But you see what I mean? If people made making progress, doing more than what they have done, if people just focused on that, they would make gains. It's impossible not to. That's the entire thing. Mystical stab artist. Looks maxing is true. Don't believe it. Go to another culture where you're considered the ideal and see how the women treat you. What do you mean? What do you mean? It's like, I got curious by that, because it sounds like you're saying that it's true, that you should max your looks or something. I promise you, it's like you might get more attention for your looks. Maybe more girls would just want to sleep with you or something. But I promise you, in the end, that's not what makes you like land a great partner, that you just look better, you know. And honestly, guys, would you want to be with someone that's with you just because you are so pretty, you know? Really? It's like, it's the same thing. Would you want to be with someone that's with you just for your money, you know? It's like, nah. But you know, like when I go, like in Greece and Spain and stuff, I notice that people think I'm attractive because I'm exotic looking, but I don't see, it's like, okay, and so what? You know, what's so great about this? Really? Why is that important? Cosmo, which country are you from? Sweden. Dolph, maybe that's why I naturally dislike the super clean cookie cutter conformity look with the slick back, perfect haircuts, suits, maybe perfectly groomed beard, stuff like that. Same thing with the TikTok e-boys. Is there comments on the looks maxing discussion? Oh, sometimes it looks in the chat on the like scroll thing on the side as there's nothing left, and then just boom, shows up a bunch of more. yeah, bro, Cosmo. You're from India. I'm from Sweden. All right. Josh Craddock, how do you feel about the philosophy of focusing on mind and mental processes to give foreground to more effective workouts? I mean, if it works for you, man. But it's like, I feel like that's not something I need to do, if you see what I mean. That I have such a good routine for my training. It doesn't really matter if I feel super excited to go to the gym or if I feel like, this is not the greatest day to train, blah, blah. You know, I've done it for enough times that I know that I will get into the zone and have a good workout in the end, no matter what, you know. So, yeah, do you know what I find more interesting then? It's like, you know, there was a study when they compared some guys that actually trained their biceps and some guys that just thought. They were instructed just imagine training their biceps, something like that. And in the end, the group that actually trained the biceps grew them more, but those that imagine it, they grew their biceps a little bit too. So it has occurred to me sometimes to do some kind of mindfulness, like really, like for instance, say that it is specifically the biceps I would like to grow more. That I like before my pull workout, when I'm also going to train the biceps, I do some kind of meditation, really focus on the biceps or something. That's something that's occurred to me to actually, because my focus and just mindset and performance in general I feel like I don't need to use any sort of route. I'll get into it in the gym. But if I can use some mental tricks to influence the gains like that, that would be cool. I totally believe in something like that. Louis Simley, okay, yeah, they're talking about stuff I don't know. Robinson, I found I had the best gains when I'm taking a protein shake, but I found it affects my breathing. And easy foods to eat to bump up protein, but like 75 grams. Easy foods, I mean, any lean meat, maybe like 75 grams. Dried meat, maybe. Louis Simley. Not everything Bodhi says is wrong. You can take the good ideas from people and leave the bad ideas behind. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say too much about the guy, but honestly, from what I've been told, what I've heard, and that I believe is true, it's not so much, you know, like he seems like a genuinely evil dude, is my point. And yeah, since he's pro sunlight, the nature and stuff, it's like, okay, but it seems like someone you shouldn't want to have anything to do with, honestly. Because I agree, of course, that you can take from people the things you agree with. And if you got something good, if there's something you started doing because of a bad person, but the thing you're doing is good, it's not like there's something wrong with that. But so yeah, I'm very much for that. I say also, all you guys, even if you like me and agree with a lot that I say, it would be wrong if you found yourself agreeing with absolutely everything, because then it can't possibly be all your own views. But yeah, this guy, that's my honest opinion, man. Seems like the opposite of me, in the sense like he seems like an evil guy, I feel like. I'm not even meaning it as an insult. It's like an observation that, okay, I'm not seeing a soul behind those eyes. It's like deep in the darkness. Josh Craddock, ever experimented with nootropics for extra energy? Not so much for energy, but for focus. I actually just recently bought again lion's mane mushroom, because that's the one that I really notice can enhance the focus. So I have some ground lion's mane mushroom here. But not many others that I think do so much. Theanine, if it counts, is okay. Mystical Stab Artist, thoughts on non-anabolic steroid PEDs, like peptides and that. Yeah, well, I don't know much, but it seems like some of these peptides really can help with healing, healing in the body, like muscles and joints. It seems like people are using these peptides with some good results. Actually have a friend that got a bunch of these recently. I don't know what to think about it, because, I have had some persistent injuries, like my hip. If I could use something that would help with that, that would be nice. But, you're also like, but I'm natural. Do I count as not natural if I do that, even if it's, not for gains, but for healing? Yeah, but anyway, since I know someone that will be trying them, I guess I can ask him what he thinks, and I'll at least have an idea. But yeah, that's the only thought I have about these peptides, that they seem to be good for certain injuries. James Wayton, I found something that works great against stubborn acne I had. Salicylic acid 2%, brand The Ordinary. I don't know. It removes dead skin cells. Interesting. Mystical Stab Artist. I remember this one time I was walking down the street in the Philippines, and this one hot chick is like staring at me the way a starving man stares at a roast turkey. Very strange experience. Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I mean. That's not so nice, though. And that's what I'm trying to explain to some people with this. It's not so often, but building the physique I have. And then from some girls, it's just hard to get as uncomfortable when a girl is like coming on to you, even if you're not interested. But like when men have given me very like sexual or obviously like flirting comments and stuff, and it also depends on the timing of it. you can feel dehumanized in the sense that for me, look, it's not a big deal. I would just feel a little grossed out by it, but it has made me understand how a lot of women will feel. But the difference again is that the woman, the creepy guy, is actually much stronger and bigger than her. While for me, the creepy guy is just a creep. But yeah, the thing, it's one thing that someone finds you attractive, you know, but that thing when someone is looking at the roast turkey, like you say, it's not a very nice feeling. Maurice Del Taco, would you recommend multi-day fasting for combat sport athletes? Well, not specifically, but wouldn't recommend against it either. I'm sure it would work well in certain phases of your training. James Wayton, I consume soy protein with soy milk. I believe this has high levels of leucine, but could be wrong. It's also important to remember not all your protein comes from that one shake you drink. No, of course. I guess you're not telling me about that, the guy that asked about that. I heard that studies show that if you look at everything a vegan eats in a whole day, that leucine stops becoming a problem. But like you said before, you probably won't try it. Yeah, exactly. All good. No, the issue would be so much, like, because it's not something that I'm very excited about doing in the first place, that I would have to come up with the food and fix it also. It's like, yeah. Mystical stamp artist. I mean, if you're considered not special in your country, go to like the Philippines where you're considered more attractive. You have to beat girls off with a stick. It's like being a rock star. But yeah. And it's like, I don't think about stuff that way. Essex, what oil do you cook your meat in? So olive oil, tallow, and butter are the fats I generally use for cooking. I have had coconut oil sometimes, but lately tallow, because I'm out of olive oil right now, or olive oil or tallow. Oh yeah. Now the race question, that I should produce Swede children instead of half-breeds. You know, guys, you shouldn't be too extreme in either direction with that. I think it's kind of strange if people would just go with a complete opposite to the way they look themselves. However, this super Puritan thinking is not right either. That's like what leads to, the inbred kind of thinking. That's why, that I fell in love with a girl that's like half Greek and half German. That's perfect to me. It's like close enough to me, but enough new elements in there. That's what I think is good. Not that I wouldn't, like, of course, if I met and fell in love with like a blonde girl, okay, but I'm saying, I think there's a certain span there. Chinggis83 says that doing cold showers every morning, as you suggested, is a great way to start the day. 100%, man. Wakes you up. You have to face your own resistance. You started the day by going against your own weakness. Yes. Doesn't even have to be so long, the morning cold shower, right? It's just about getting in there, is the point. Yeah. Stinging thinks we should be trying to preserve our own people. Well, I say we shouldn't just not care about that at all, but just don't be too Puritan. I promise you. The truth is, or the right way, is never white or black. It's gray, Some kind of shade of gray. Josh Craddock says, thanks for your time and answers. Well, thank you, man, for the questions, and I've seen you around commenting on videos too. Got this kid. What's the point of having several Philippines oogling after you when it's purely superficial? Looks maxing is just basic hygiene and care turned into a fad. You should always take care of yourself. Yeah, exactly. What I mean, you're gonna look good enough if you just take good care of yourself, and anything beyond that, it's starting to be a little kind of weird obsession. Like, honestly, do you know that I notice myself? I'm having to. I'm thinking more of my looks now because I'm a public person. I'm content creator. That has occurred to me, like, I want to grow my hair out for fun, but should I just cut it so I look nicer on the camera? Um, but yeah, Dolph. If it revokes your natural status, who cares at all? It's just a label. Yeah, but you know, man, much better to have good ligaments and joints. He says, you know, of course. And you know, I wouldn't. I don't view it if it doesn't increase your performance or ability to grow muscle in any way. That should be the thing we're talking about when we're talking about natural, right? Like, have you taken something that tampers with like your hormones and protein synthesis, like your ability to put on muscle? So you know, if I thought that it would be really helpful, I wouldn't worry about that. But you understand that when you are a genuine natural, it's like just being able to say that without feeling as if you are, oh, but this one thing though, or you know, it's just so nice to not have to think. It's like, yes, I am completely natural, always have been, always will. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. There's no nuance here. I am natural, you know. So you gotta understand that from my perspective, it's you know, it's just a label. Well, it is a label that means something right now. So yeah, they're talking about mewing. Proud carnivore. Yo, brother, you look so handsome. You remind me of the elves of Lord of the Rings. Do you watch Lord of the Rings and love it? Yeah, I watched Lord of the Rings many times, and I like it. I guess I appreciate these compliments. I look like an elf. But yeah, man, it was among the first books I read as a kid too. I read the Lord of the Rings trilogy when I was like 8 or something. I remember that my dad made me read the books before I got to see the movies. And they were a little like too heavy for me as a kid. But I also felt quite proud of doing it. No, Lord of the Rings is great, obviously. Dark Dragunov. Women respond more to how you feel about yourself than looks. Emotions are contagious. Exactly. Completely true. Billy McBilly, elf mode. Yeah. Nimenialturu. I'm curious. I'm about 3 to 4 days away from a 10 days water fast. How do you prepare for a long water fast, 7 to 10 days? By existing. Then I just started fast. It's like, why do we have to do... you know, I think I saw this. I was at this health story about this fasting kit. I mean, maybe there's something you can get out of doing those things, but generally it's trying to monetize some stuff, like even like fasting, you know. No, I mean, I don't see what you would need to do to prepare. Like the only thing would possibly be to eat lower carb so that you are in or closer to ketosis before the fast. But other than that, it's just like, it depends. Also, if someone was super skinny that wanted to do it, they would have to prepare by eating a lot, right? Like I've done that. Like I think that when I did my 7.5 day fast, like leading up to it, I was eating more, like just trying to put on a bit of weight or something because I was quite lean. I was going to fast for a week. But other than that, I didn't do anything. Proud Carver. Who was your favorite character in Lord of the Rings and why? Interesting. Interesting. Have I ever really had a favorite? I mean, who doesn't love but Tom Bombadil that they cut out of the movies, of course. Just this nice, like extremely powerful, hippie-like guy. Just when in the midst of all the stuff, he's just in the forest, can wear the ring, and it doesn't even affect him. So Tom Bombadil is pretty badass. I mean, you gotta love Sam, right? You know, nothing special, not so intelligent, but courageous and a fighter, as he never gives up, right? Frodo wouldn't have made it without him. I mean, Aragorn too. He is a king, right? He embodies the way a king is. He doesn't just sit and point to give orders. He leads from the field. He's part of it, right? Leads by example. But I mean, everyone, Gandalf is great too, obviously. So it's so funny, you made me think and analyze all the Lord of the Rings characters. Like, I've never done it like this. But if I have to pick one, you know, it's difficult. If I have to pick one, I'll just take Tom Bombadil. let's see. Got the skin as how many languages do you speak? So English, I'm obviously as good as fluent. It's just a word here and there, right? Swedish, obviously. I speak basic German and even more basic Greek. I speak. Ligo Elenika. Prospato alla inediscola. I said that I try, but it's difficult. Dark Dragonov. Yeah, that guy was great, yo. My roommate told me about Tom Bombadil. He's so pure that he cannot be corrupted and even destroyed the One Ring and brought it back to show how trivial it all is. Yeah, and they cut him out of the movie for this reason, because he would like the ring that's supposed to be so almighty. Like immediately in the first movie, there's just this one guy who's like, oh, it's nothing. You know, that's why they took him out actually. Nimiani Alturo. Okay, thanks. I've been eating more meat and fats. Sugar has been an issue, but I cut that too. Cheers and much love. Yeah, okay. Much love to you as well. It was you with a long fast. James Waiton. Potatoes. Sam the Giga Chat. I don't know. I have no idea who that is. But surrogate activities. Men read Lord of the Rings and every character is literally them. Well, if I'm going to say one, that's literally me there. I gotta be Aragorn, I think. It's that's, you know, that's patting yourself on the back a lot. But, you know, I'm big on, because that's what I like with him. Like, you know, the king that's a leader and not a boss, you know. And I think it's a great point. And I think he embodies that. And that's the way I want to lead, right? By example. So... yeah, Aragorn, literally me. Aragorn while elf mode? I mean, isn't Aragorn like an honorary elf or something? Almost. Nimini Alturo, P.S. I always wanted to be the ring in Lord of the Rings. You wanna be the ring? Well. Disney Dolby 1. What's up, man? He reads Lord of the Rings every fall. Well, guys, we've gone for 1.5 hours. I've gone through most of the chat here. See, I'll just stay a minute or two, see if you say something, but otherwise starting to round off. Like the stream if you haven't. Maybe send a super chat if you had a good time here. Maybe show your support, the last thing you do. Billy McBilly, I like the Dwarf Man. I never read the books or watched the movie. That's funny. Yeah, that one good thing, in the books, I don't remember if they do that in the movies, but Legolas and Gimli, who is the dwarf, they compete in different, how do you say that? Different, you know, battles. They compete in like how many kills they get. Dark Dragonov. Tom Bombadil lives in the moment. Gollum lives in his head. Yeah, exactly. James Waiton says, thanks, this was fun. I'm glad, my man, it was fun. Proud Carnivore. Aragorn is that guy who anyone would die protecting him and wouldn't have a second thought. Yeah. Yeah, but that's the beauty is that Aragorn would do the same. That's epic at the end, actually. You know, the hobbits, when they are going to bow to him, it's like, my friends, you bow to no one. He's a true leader, you know, not all ego that everyone has to kiss my feet, you know. Okay, guys, we're going to have a stream today that's going to be longer. Usually this got longer than I thought. But 5 p.m. Central European time tomorrow. I started this one a little earlier because it was unscheduled. Well, we had a good time. And thanks again to Louis. I don't remember your last name on here now. It's probably not your real name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But Louis is all I remember. So the generous support with the super chats. Thanks a lot, man. And yeah, another 5 p.m. Central European stream tomorrow, guys. Thanks for today. And yeah, I will see you.